Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Midnight Ride with Grayman Prepping. It's been a fun, tongue-in-cheek day. Oh, man. All right, let me get over here, change some things up first. First I want to change the banner here to anybody that's out there lurking. I got there it is. Lurking is fine, but please check in and hit the thumbs up. And then I want to bring this up over there. And let's go talk to everybody that's here. First one in was Phelan Klein Wolf, says he's lurking. Then Aiden Air. Then Brenda, Duncan 1900 Homestead. And Gear Grinding 19. And Walter Davis is here. And those are the only ones that are commenting. Oh, and I'm commenting too. So, Tibor's in the house. He just came in. And, yeah. Well, let's see. I don't know how many of you saw the video I put over on Camp Pat and Family Compound. Got snow today. The first snow of fall. Not winter, fall. Up here this is called first winter. Next week we go into third fall. Then we have second winter. Then we have fourth fall. Then we have real winter. Then we have dead of winter. Yeah, as it cools down, warms up, cools down. And first fall was back. We went from summer to first fall to last summer to second fall to first winter. Yeah. But, yeah, so that's what happened there. And then what happened about 3 o'clock in the morning, first time ever, my furnace came on. I'm like, I woke up, what's that sound? Oh, that's the air blowing out of the heater, out of the heating duct. Cool. It's warming up the house. Then a little while later, I got out. I was up walking by and heard the furnace go. It blows a little bit because it's one of those air blower ones. It's got PVC coming down to it, so it draws cold air in and blows air out, and it runs a little bit before to make sure there's no blockage, and then it turns on the igniter, and then it lights up, and then it starts blowing, and then the fan starts blowing, the internal fan for the house. Well, I'm walking by, it goes, whoom. I go, oh, great, it's starting that crap again. And that happened about 4 times, each time getting a little bit louder. The last time I did it, I was walking by, and it sounded like a friggin' M80 going off inside the furnace. So there's a door in front of the furnace with a big grate on it there that I can put another filter in. And I could see the door panel, front panel of the furnace, and it went whoom, and it bounced out and hit the door in front of it. And I'm like, holy crap. And it ignited, and it worked for a while, and it blew and warmed the house up a little bit, and then it shut off again. Next time I heard the fan kick on. Okay, is it going to start this time? No, it blew for a little bit, and it wouldn't ignite, and it shut down. And then it about 2 minutes later started blowing again, trying to ignite, and I shut it off. Called the company. They came out, started looking at it, and I was talking to the tech, and goes, I think I got to figure it out. I said, yeah, I told the last guy that was here when it did this a month ago, and it did the big boom and wouldn't start up again afterwards, that the gas company said they had to put a 2-pound meter on it instead of a half-pound meter, PSI coming in. And he goes, what? And yeah, so he started doing all sorts of testing. He goes, oh crap, that's probably wrong. And what happened was when he got there, on the front of the combustion chamber, there's a plate that goes over it, an inspection plate. It has 6 screws in it, and a little glass thing and everything. That thing was bent out. 4 of the screws had been blown off. 2 of them were barely hanging on. And he goes, holy crap. When he opened up and saw that, he goes, holy crap. And he starts looking at it and stuff, and he shuts down his line, and he goes, where's the igniter? Where's the bottom half of the igniter? It's gone. So he called back to his office several times. Finally got hold of someone, and they were saying, no, that thing does not run on a 2-pound gas line. It's got to have a half-pound gas line. And we went back and forth, and they were questioning me. All right, I said, what happened? How to get installed? So I had to explain. They came out. They installed all the gas line, installed the furnace, put the test on it. The inspector came out and said, no, this is only a 20-pound test for a half-pound meter. We're putting a 2-pound meter on it. It needs to be a 60-pound test. So the same crew came back out, did the 60-pound test, put the 60-pound test on it, left. The inspector came out, signed it off. They came back out again, same crew, took their stuff off, got everything hooked up and ready for the gas meter to come on, get put on. The gas meter came on. I called them, hey, gas meter's on. They came back out, bled the lines, hooked up the furnace, and they got it going, and then they go, it's just, finishing bleeding the air out of the line and stuff. Yeah. So evidently the install crew, which knew it was supposed, had been on the original paperwork, was supposed to be for a 2-pound test on the line, and it was going to be a 2-pound meter on it. Did it originally for the half-pound meter, came back out, did it for the 2-pound meter and stuff, and never thought, this thing needs a regulator inside to drop it back down to half-pound. Hey, Survival Buzz, how's it going? Welcome from Oklahoma. Everybody, say hi to them. And so, yeah. So the guy came out. Well, after I explained everything to them, what happened, I could hear the guy on the end of the phone. Like I was getting ready to repeat it to him. He goes, "Did you catch all that?" He goes, "Yeah." So they realized that they screwed it up. They went back checking their paperwork. They saw that the gas company said 2-pound meter on the paperwork. So so they put the regulator on there, put a new igniter into it, straightened everything out, and when he did the first test up fire of it, I couldn't even hear it ignite. Other than this little, you hear the blower and hear the gas start to engage, and it's like, I looked down so I could see the blue glow. Oh, it lit. I didn't even hear it light. He goes, that's the way it's supposed to sound. And that was with everything off. And he put the cover back on it, put everything back on it, put it all back together, did it again. Perfect. And he did it a couple more times, fired up right. So now I got the things working, and tomorrow the gas company's supposed to call me and get it straightened out. And then they say, well, why did you request the 2-pound meter? I didn't know about 2-pound meters. That's what you guys told me to put on the form in the email. And I still got that email. They're probably going to go, oh, shit, we screwed up, which they did. When they were saying, when I was talking to the person on the phone, they were saying, yeah, with all the BTUs you're drawing, you're going to need a 2-pound meter. I go, but everything's not going to be on at the same time. Yeah, it is. I go, no, it's not. I'm not going to be cooking in the kitchen, running the washing machine, which is drawing hot water on a tanklet, so that's what it's engaging. And I'm not going to be drying clothes at the same time I'm cooking. Yeah. Anyways, all right, Sula Dean's here. Tibor says we have inner summer this week. Next week, cold arrives. Walter says, how much snow? Snow's all gone. Snow was all gone by the time the guy got here to fix it, which was after 3 o'clock. So it was about 4 o'clock. He showed up to fix the furnace, mountain time. And the snow had stopped a couple hours before that, and it was melting off. And it was gone off the street within half an hour after it stopped snowing. It was gone off my driveway. All the concrete it was gone off of. It was just out on the grass, on all the straw I had spread out there in the new garden area. So, yeah. Let's see here. Whoa, 20 days till retirement. Woohoo! All right. So, yeah. So that was my day. That was part of my day today. And then the other part of my day was realizing, crap, I forgot. I videoed a bunch of days of your prep for today, but I hadn't edited them yet. It's like, crap, I got to edit it. So I was editing that amongst the thing, trying to get a bunch of them edited and loaded up a couple of them. And then I realized I screwed up on one of the dates. And just before this was going live, I was switching things around. So I got that all taken care of. I just got to go do the recording of me portion for that one, but that one's a couple days off, so I got time to do that. Let's see. Let me go here. That's where it's going here. So yeah, and then yeah, all sorts of weird things going on. Alrighty, but hey, that's life. You got to be prepared for life. You never know when it's going to throw you a spitball and a curveball, followed by a fastball, all before you have a chance to swing at the first one. Alrighty, so before I start, I'm going to put the link out there so any of you guys can come on up here and we can chat and talk about stuff. All right, okay. This was up last week, and it's still going on. I guess this Orionid meteor shower was supposed to peak last weekend, but it's been going on for 6 weeks before, and it's going to be going on for another 6 weeks, and it's going to be getting less and less and less. But they're still getting. Hang on, was it how many per minute here? Read the full story. And it says about 23 meters per hour was the peak last Saturday. But it's going to be continuing on through, where's the date here? November 22nd. So there's still going to be, it's going to be active shower through November 22nd, which is almost a month away. Not bad, Tibor. And let's see. Here's an interesting one. Here's where they put it in the paper. Vigilantes snare child predator. They weren't vigilantes. They weren't taking the law into their own hands. They were just playing bait. And when the guy said he was going to come, basically what they were doing online, this guy thought he was talking to a 14-year-old boy and he was going to come meet him. And when they set up the thing, they called the police. Hey, come on down. And the police didn't show, so they talked to the guy, placed him under citizen's arrest, and called the police and said, "Where were you? We called you guys so you could make the arrest." And so they looked at everything, arrested the guy, and said, "All right, said we're arresting him, not you." Took him away, and it's like, yeah, somebody at a certain department is in deep shit on that one. Pardon my French. Let's see what next one we have here is strong. How strong, in quotes, and it's in quotes, strong El Nino winter could shake out in California. And then, of course, if you look at some of the other weather channels, they talk about the strong El Nino weather in the Pacific and how it affects everybody, and how there are several channels saying that really strong El Nino weather brings even snow down into Texas. Remember the snow apocalypse in Texas? Well, they're looking at that type of El Nino again. Hey, Tammy, Rebel Canners is in the house. And I take it your boys woke you up again. And let's see. And here's the fun one been going on from Alaska to Oregon, Washington and stuff with Alaska Airlines. I don't know if everybody heard about Alaska Airlines this week. This was started on the 23rd and has been going for the 23rd, 24th, and 25th. 24th was the last headline on it. 23rd and 24th. Okay. Pilot charged with attempted murder. Tried to stop engines on the way to San Francisco. The pilot was not on duty. He was riding back in the jump seat in the cabin, and he tried to turn off the engines. I guess he turned a couple of them off, and they were able to restart them before the engine slowed down. So it really didn't affect the plane or everything. They subdued him, secured him, and tied him up in the seat or whatever. And then they made a detour and landed in. It was going from up in Alaska to San Francisco, and they I think it was Portland they stopped at, or was it Seattle? Hang on, it's read full story. It's not given in the headline. So it was Alaskan Airlines Flight 2059, operated by Horizon Air, their puddle jumper service. Left Everett, Washington, after coming down from Alaska. It left Everett, Washington to San Francisco, and made a detour to Portland International. So I had the Portland right. Then the next day, there's an Alaska airline accused of Alaskan airline was from the East Bay. That's, you got San Francisco, West Bay, Oakland, Pleasanton, San Jose's East Bay. And then they said later on that day, the pilot was on psychedelic mushrooms when he tried to shut down the plane. And they're not saying whether he took the mushrooms voluntarily or somebody slipped them to him. And so, no, Walter, evidently, from what I read on the last one there, here's what the media is reporting. The pilot told investigators he'd taken psychedelic mushrooms and was in a sleep deprived. He was sleep deprived and depressed. He had not slept in nearly 2 days and believed he was having a nervous breakdown, according to the criminal complaint filed in court on Tuesday. He's from Pleasant Hill, which is 10 miles south of where my wife lives. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So he took the mushrooms himself. He was sleep deprived, doing all sorts of stuff, and yeah. And evidently, it was something just happened, and nobody knew what was going on. Yeah, he done mushrooms earlier that day, so yeah, he was. Yeah, but no one knew what was going on. There was nothing for Homeland Security, nothing for TSA, nothing for the FAA to go off of. Nothing had been reported to anybody about him. So yeah, it's a. Anyways, and people wonder why when I worked for Homeland Security, I always drove wherever I went. I never flew. But you manage TSA and all the rest. Why do you think I don't fly? Okay. And here they're repeating something from a couple weeks ago. Extremely rare case of dengue fever reported in California. The disease is not endemic to the state. Gee, no, it's not endemic to the state. It's not endemic to the United States at all. But it's only been linked to international travel. It is only linked to international travelers returning from countries where dengue fever is found. The person infected lives in Pasadena, the Rose Bowl area down there. Isolated incidents. Doesn't say if he's been traveling. They're being very. They're not saying whether the guy had been traveling or not. They're not even mentioning anything about that in the thing. So. Yeah, they're not saying anything about whether he'd been traveling. You could say, yes, he was traveling. No, he wasn't traveling. So the fact that they're not saying anything tells me, no, he wasn't traveling, and they're suspecting it was he got it from a mosquito. Brought to you by Holes in the Border. Yeah, Costa Rica and several other places. Yeah. Alrighty. Let's get back to that from that one. Snow falling in Northern California, more to come, which reminds me, I got to show you guys something here. There we go. Okay, so this is what's going on with the cold. See the cold mass up here coming down from Canada, and the winds coming down here. That's the freezing temperature we got in the snow we got today. No snow for the next 7 days, supposedly. All right, so that was what it looked like it today. There it is. See, it moved a bunch. It moved from there over me to gone. And I'm getting the warmer weather from Howie at Vancouver Island. And so Friday morning, 8 o'clock. It's still holding up there. PM. And now, hang on, we go back one. You see these lines coming straight down over here in the green? That's coming down from northern Canada and stuff. You still got the cold front here, and then coming across, and we are getting hit with some nasty coldness here, and more cold, and more cold. And look at all the line, all this coldness coming down now is coming across here, and it's heading over. It's just missing Ohio. It's getting the stuff from that storm down here off of Baja coming up. So you're getting that warmer weather coming up there. So you up through Oklahoma, Nebraska, you might see some tornadoes there from the cold and wet, cold and warm things meeting. And this front is going down into our Uncle Al is there in California. And that this here, let me go back one. This is where it's snowing up there at Tahoe and Reno, and coming down across, and yeah, it's so we're going to see, and here's a nice warm wet patch coming in across there. So this now we're looking at next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and so it looks like some of this is now going to get, the air's coming up here, getting cold and pushed back down into Ohio. So this is on Thursday and Friday. You're going to be getting some cold stuff there, Tibor. It's going to be a mix. It's still going to be a wash machine. I'm just going to hit play it. So here's what it's going to look like. Here goes. Ready? Here we go. Oh, wow. It's going to be fun. Okay. Yeah, I haven't gone out there since the snow melted off my tomatoes and all my rainbow chard. The rainbow chard should handle it just fine, and the peas out there should handle it just fine. Those are cold weather peas. Sunflowers are probably frozen. Okay, that's the one I keep on putting out. Here's the link to it again. This is Weather Street. I've been putting that out for years. And Yeah, it's a jet stream. It's a 10-day tracker, projected tracker. So there's the link. Drop that down. Now, along with that, still going with the weather after the California gets snow. 40-mile-an-hour winds expected. Fire danger prompts NWS watch. They've had more friggin' higher winds than that, and they haven't put out a fire danger watch. And I'm going over here to the other computer to bring up. I have the weather service for California, for where my wife is in Martinez, California. There, refresh, and it is increasing clouds. Saturday is a slight chance of snow down at sea level in the Contra Costa County area, which means Mount Diablo is going to get snow on it. And then it clears up Sunday, Monday, and then Tuesday's clear. Partly cloudy coming in Sunday. Then Thursday's a 20% chance of rain. So yeah, so that's the story. That's the lead there. 40-mile-an-hour power winds. I've seen 65-mile-an-hour winds in California, and they haven't put up a wildfire danger prompt. Just one day after measurable snow fell in the mountains. Oh, everything's wet, so they got a fire danger. Across much of northern due to gusty winds and dry conditions. Oh, wait a minute. We just had snow and rain, and we got dry conditions. The right hand's not talking to the left hand there, folks. And people wonder why California is all screwed up. All right, let me go back here. And back up here in inbox. There we go. And then drop that down. And so anyways, yeah, the weather's really weird. In the Witch of November there, yeah. I don't know. I haven't heard anybody, any of the channels from up in Canada talking about about fires. And if you don't know about the Emmett Fitzgerald, check out Gordon Lightfoot's song on it. Anyways, let me go back over here and where it happened to it here. There it is. There we go. And let me pin that up there. So anybody that is currently in the chat, you're welcome to come up and talk about stuff. All right, guys, what's on your guys' mind out there that's has you worried? All I know is it's all of a sudden now it's very hard to find ethanol-free gas in Idaho Falls. I mean, the Hard Times gas station across the railroad tracks here, across the railroad tracks is Firth. The one there used to have all ethanol-free gas. Now they have all E85 or whatever the hell it is. Yeah. I know several of the channels up there in Canada have said they're already getting snow. So I don't know. Oh, yeah, it's gonna be fun. Update on the shop project. So I tore out all the wiring going to the light switches for the main part of the shop and replaced it with 14 gauge because everything is LEDs, and the grand total wattage for all three switches is 150 watts for all three switches. So it's divided up amongst the switches. So And it's so much easier to work with 14 gauge wire working with light switches. Yeah, there's I can find two places that are listing it up in Idaho Falls. The Hard Times in Shelley, which is 4 miles north on the way to Idaho Falls, only has ethanol-free premium. So I got to go up there and fill up my a couple of my 5-gallon cans with the since I know they have it for my ride-on lawnmower, the push lawnmower, and the walk-behind Cub Cadet string trimmer, because they all take ethanol-free gas. Well, it is sort of, because it's the wattage that turns into amperage when you doing so many watts equals so many amps. So yeah, it kind of is, but because they're rated at supposed to be rated at 15 amps, which is way 120 times 15 is 1,700 and something watts. No, the entire thing was wired wrong, and I had to take it out anyways. And rather than try to reuse the old wire, I just put the lower gauge wire in that I had, because I had plenty of it on hand. So it wasn't a waste of money. I already had it. But it's also because that 12 gauge wire that he was using to put up to the ceramic light things broke 4 of them when he was trying to put it in and tighten it back up. There was so much tension in there, it broke it. Back up here. Okay, here's the lead off for that one was stock market, thinking about pulling out some 401k, putting in CDs, maybe gold. And it also depends on the 401k too, whether or not you're going to get taxed on it, or you're doing a direct transfer and deferring taxes because you're just transferring from one account to another type account. Depends on that. Yeah, and I've been a Class A general engineering contractor with doing electrical wiring and everything else for 35 years before I got married. No, it's not just the switch drops. He ran everything wrong up there. It was totally wrong. Yeah, but yeah, because he ran the power to all the lights and then down from the lights to the switches, rather than from the breaker to the switch to the lights. Which is, I talked to one of the things here, and they don't know how he got the inspector to pass that off, because you're not supposed to run it to the lights and then down to the switch. But yeah, he had the thing wired totally backwards, and one of the guys in town is an inspector, and I was talking to him about it. He goes, and I told him how it was running. He goes, "Oh man, that's totally wrong." He goes, "I would have red tagged that instantly. Yeah, I'm tearing it all out and doing it right." He goes, "Good for you." Okay, what's Tibor saying there? No taxes, and you can set up smaller payments to yourself. Yeah. No, you can't. You cannot run it in this locality here from the breaker to the lights and then back down to the switch. Different counties and different states run it differently. Here you cannot. In Idaho, you cannot do that. In California, you cannot do that. So, I mean, there other places have changed laws from your location. Yeah, but yeah, it used to be you could do certain things, and now they say no, you can't. You got to do it this way. But yeah, the way this thing was wired was even for was it 12 years was 12 years ago, it was still against code to do it the way he did it. You'd have to go. If you want to find that out, you can go look up the electrical codes for in Idaho, especially for Bingham County. Interpreted. Yeah, yeah. And the thing was, he was mixing wires and stuff, and on different ends and stuff, so that the lights were all hot before it got to the switch to turn them off. And that's why they say you can't run power to the light sockets and then down to the thing. You got to run it to the switch before, so you can when the switch is off, there is no power to the light fixtures. Yeah, so yeah, that's why they're changing the code. No, that is the situation here. It was hot to the light sockets, and they weren't getting turned off unless you turned the breaker off, and that's a no-no. I mean, shoot. And when I got my contractor's license 35 years ago, 36 years ago, in California, that was a no-no then, and they were emphasizing that in the testing program on the electrical part. Yeah, run aluminum. Yeah, and that's why they're banning aluminum wire for running from the breakers to the stuff in houses now. Yeah. And that's the thing. Back years ago, they used to be able to run aluminum wire, from the if you had like a barn and stuff with a substation on it, you could run aluminum from the breakers in the main panel where the meter was that go to the sub one, but you can't do that anymore. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I got bit a few times by people having things wired wrong as well. Yeah, it was still aluminum was still common up until we put that. That was 77 when when the inspector said, "Yeah, you guys can run aluminum to the barn." Because my dad could get aluminum cheaper, so he asked the inspector, "Can we run aluminum?" He goes, "Yeah, you just got to put this special goop on the ends when you put it into the breakers and stuff, so it doesn't oxidize." Well, actually, while I was working out there, I did run some drop lights all over the place to a special switch the plug that goes into the plug. While I was working on it, once I got it changed up, that went away. But yeah, so right now I have everything going from the breakers to the switches. Each switch bank is on its own breaker, and so I got three light banks in the main part of the shop, and then there's another one over on for the other hidden bay on the other side. But yeah, I got that done. I just got one more that he had wired the lights after all the wall sockets for where the workbench was supposed to go, and he put a couple lights up above it, and so it goes first plug, first outlet, second outlet, third outlet, fourth outlet, fifth outlet, sixth outlet, seventh outlet, and then up to the lights, and from the lights down to the switch. So I'm just going to add where disconnected at that seventh outlet, and to just take those lights out because I have enough. I'm running enough all the way back there anyway. So, oh, sounds like almost like across the street. That thing was built in, or this main little cabin part of the house was built in 1903. The schoolhouse they moved over there was built in 1880, and then and they put it next to and they moved it in next to the one part, the original part. Then they added on the original part built onto it in 62, and it all had pin and tube wiring. And then sometime later, when they did another add-on in the 70s, they pulled a lot of the pin and tubing, but not all of it, out. Knob and tube, pin and tube, yeah. Yeah, and so yeah, it's yeah. Oh man. Yeah. I know when we bought the house in my parents bought a house in 1960. It was actually three little houses that had been moved together into one bigger one, and those were the ones from the Port Chicago area. Port Chicago that blew up during World War II. These were some of the surviving houses that were moved out of there, moved up there, and it was all knob and tube. We always call it there. We always called it pin and tube. And my dad, the first summer after we bought it, he and my uncle spent a month crawling through all the little tight spaces and pulling out all the pin and tube and running Romex in there. We all felt much better once it was done. Hey, Laura, how's it going? Yeah. Oh, Walter in Pennsylvania. Um, this old house, watching watching this old house and the remodels they did there. I remember watching that on TV, going, "They have what wired in there?" And it was the pin or knob and tube wiring and stuff. Oh yeah. Gee, kerosene soaked paper around an electrical wire. Ooh, there's no threat there of a fire starting. Yeah. Oh, and I found out why Norm Abrams, why the new Yankee Workshop was why it stopped. because Norm Abrams wanted to spend less time on it, wanted to train someone else to take it over and go do family stuff. And they've, all the research they did and surveys and stuff, people were not happy with someone else in there. And so they said, we're just going to end it. It's not worth it trying to fight it. Oldest brewery in America, Yinglong. Yeah. Yeah, across the street, I replaced a lot of the lug and tube wiring that was up there that I could, but it's like some of the areas I couldn't get into, and unless I was going to tear all the sheetrock out, and so we just kind of did what we could, left the other alone, and right now my daughter and son-in-law are realizing, oh, we got to quit shitting around with stuff and start saving our money. And so they're saving money to build their own place over there or buy a manufactured home and have it brought in and set up. Oh, yeah. Norm was absolutely the best in building stuff. Norm's dad was a master carpenter as well. That's how he grew. He grew up learning this stuff. Norm went to school as an engineer and graduated as an engineer, worked for an engineering company and stuff for a while, and went as far as he could. So he started his own company. And while his own company, he did a remodel for a television producer. And the producer was so enthralled with what he did, he goes, I want you to, bought another house. He goes, I want you to remodel this house, and we are going to film it. And that was the first This Old House. And then he went on to they went on for a couple of years, This Old House, and he did New Yankee Workshop, and that was just, there's so much stuff I wanted to do, like New Yankee Workshop. That was amazing. Just I still want to build a plywood table saw, with everything set up so I can run plywood on it with the different pieces and stuff to take off. So I depend on the width of plywood I'm cutting. Hey, Denise, how's it going? That would have been Edison, wouldn't it? But yeah, it's a yeah, I found that out over there because I was following the lines up and I was taking white electrical tape on, because I dropped some wire down, did a test, and found out, okay, this is my neutral. And I started putting white electrical tape on it, so that was my neutral. And as I'm going along, as they tied Romex in to go down to the kitchen light and the kitchen switch and the bathroom light, I was like, wait a minute, they got a black one tied to the neutral. And the neutral, and it's white one onto the hot leg, and the next one down 2 feet away was reversed. It was like, holy sh! And so I was reversing some of those back, so you had neutral going right. And I went down, before I did that, I went downstairs and put my tester into the receptacles. And I was like, crap, this is backwards. Hey, Howie's in the house. And yeah, it was. That's why it's to the point. I made it safe over there, a lot safer than it was. But I also told them, hey, don't be plugging anything high in there. You want any high amperage, high wattage things anywhere? I'll run some new conduit and put a plug in there just for that. And I put new plugs in all the kitchen, just ran conduit up and around, and put plugs up there in the kitchen so they could plug in the toaster, the microwave and stuff. And that's all all on its own breaker. And actually, half the plugs are on one breaker, the other half the plugs in the kitchen are on the other breaker. I ran a couple of those plugs into the living room so they could plug in the TV and the VCR and all that stuff into one area. But I told them no space heaters in the bedrooms, no space heater in the bathroom. You want and so my daughter was wanting to be able to use a hair dryer. So in the bathroom, I was able to get to the back of that receptacle, and I found the lines to it, and it had the bathroom sink receptacle backed up against the receptacle to the washer. And so I split those apart, ran new wires down from both those down into the basement over to the breaker panel. So those are each on their own breaker. But I told her, still don't put a space heater in there. You got a heater vent, you got a brand new furnace. Turn on the furnace, a half an hour before you take your shower. So that's like my dad told me not ever to pee on the hot wire fence around the horses. Of course, our Mr. Contrarian cousin, my brother and I got him to pee on it. He goes, see, it doesn't bother. Ow! Oh. All right, what's Howie? Howie said, good evening, a blueberry loaf and cup of mint tea, and used homemade yogurt to top it. All right, Howie's turning this into a cooking channel again. But yeah, there's just everything going on here. It's just like, I got 90 sheets of OBS sitting in the shop. I got a couple bales, whatever, of the 24-inch wide, 6-inch thick insulation to do the walls in the one area. Once I get those walls done and get that part insulated, those walls insulated, then I do the ceiling, and hopefully I can get the wiring to work right in there without breaking any more of those light fixtures. Once that's done, then I will get when I buy 20 bales of the 25-pound cellulose blown in spray insulation for sound, thermal, and fire from Home Depot. I get a free 24-hour machine rental with the purchase of 20 bags. And so I'll get that third of the shop done with nice heavy blown in insulation above it. Then I'll move on to the rest of the main part of the shop. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Coming up here. Well, it's already after midnight back east, so it'll be later today, guys, for you. But for Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern on both channels, both Grayman Prepping and Camp Patton Family Compound, I got Dr. Paula Ruffin coming in, and she was on TEDx, and so got her coming in, talk about nutrition, vitamins, winter prep for health and vitality and stuff. And so she's going to talk and do that, and then we'll have a question and answer. Yeah, all right. Interesting thing, over the last 2 weeks before I went to get the OBS, it dropped through. Every time I checked, it was dropping in price. And from where it was 3 weeks ago to when I purchased it, it had dropped $3.55. So it's like, whoa, I'm going to do that. I'm going to get them to deliver it. And so the price drop paid for a few more sheets than what I was originally calculated on, and the delivery. So it's like, cool. I'm happy with that. My wife was happy with that. It's like, oh, she dropped that much. It dropped that much. She goes, yep. And then I said, and then so that pays for everything. Interview is tomorrow night, Friday, 10 o'clock, both channels. I am streaming to both channels simultaneously, and Courtney's going to be up there helping me to monitor the Q&A time on both channels. And Paul is going to be up there. Actually, yesterday, Paul and I spent 2 hours. I spent 2 hours teaching her how to use StreamYard. So she may be using StreamYard from now on for her live streams. oh, yeah, Oh, all right. Let me see here. So we're coming up on. It's been an hour. I've been up since 3:30 this morning. So it's 11 o'clock my time now. So that's been a long day. Where is it? Okay, so topics. Friday is tomorrow's Dr. Paula Ruffin. Saturday, we're talking back here on Grayman Prepping. We're talking emergency heat. Monday on Camp Patton Family Compound, it's air pumps, hand and battery powered. So no plugging into the wall for these type of air pumps. Tuesday is going to be trick or treat preparedness. This is not what you think. Next Friday is animal feed. And we're going to be talking about all sorts of animals, not just outdoor animals, but indoor animals as well. Okay. Stocking it, storing it, and preserving it for your animals. All right. So that's what we have coming up for the next week or so. All right, Walter, have a good night. And so that's what's coming up here. Thank you all for coming in, for your comments, and everything. I will hopefully see you then. I may start doing on Wednesday a midday cooking, either here on Grayman or over on Camp Patton. A pantry cooking from the prepper pantry. I did an experiment with Courtney a couple of weeks ago. We found out some of the stuff that was wrong. I ordered some special cable, and the cable arrived so I can put my webcam in the kitchen and not have to use my Kindle in there. So we will be doing that. So and until then, everyone, stay happy, stay safe, stay prepared, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow night with Dr. Ruffin. Take care.